Hello everyone and welcome to Counterpoints, the show unpacking the trends that are shaping our business. Today we will talk about the role of the SDGs in pivoting the global economy and society. I'm with Pierre Abadie, Group Climate Director at Tikehau Capital and co-head of the private equity fund T2 Energy Transition. Hello Pierre and welcome to Counterpoints.
Hello Annette, how are you?
Fine, thank you. So T2 is a pioneer in financing the energy transition, and so we want to know today if it is possible to meet all the development goals at once. Yeah, so the 17 Sustainable Development Goals were adopted in September 2015 by 193 countries at the United Nations. They are an action plan for peace, humanity, planet and prosperity, requiring the implementation of multi-stakeholder partnerships, and they aim to transform our societies by eradicating poverty and ensuring a just transition to sustainable development by 2030. So my question is, do you think it isn't a bit too utopian to target so many objectives at once?
I don't think so. There are 17 objectives, they have been set, and ultimately we don't have a planet B. So it's not utopian to believe that we need to act to preserve our biosphere. But yes, the SDGs, they are a bit theoretical in the sense that you've got plenty of little squares with little colors and you want to act. The aim of the SDGs is to protect the planet and end poverty. But it's true that when you look at this framework, we don't speak that much about the planet. We're just speaking about, climate actions, making sure life on land is preserved, life on sea is preserved, promoting diversity, etc., etc. There are some work that has been carried out by scientists since now a while. So everyone knows the IPCC. First report was in 1990, explaining that if we keep doing as we do by 2020, we'll start to see the first, I would say, what was called a natural catastrophe that is not a natural catastrophe anymore. It's catastrophe induced by human activity occurring by 2020. It happened. In fact, there is other people that have started to work nearly 10 years ago, and they have looked at the planetary boundaries or limits. They have identified 9 limits. If you go beyond those limits, you could trigger a tipping point. You could change the state of the planet in another state where the planet still exists. Usually we hear everyone saying, well, we need to save the planet. Well, what we want to save is humankind, it's not the planet. The planet will still exist, but in a state where humankind cannot live there. Currently, we know that we are off limit on 3 of them. They are the biodiversity loss. So we have started the 6th mass extinction, in fact, a while ago. The last one was the dinosaur. And this is mostly used of pesticide that is triggering this. The other one is the one that they call nitrogen cycle. In fact, it's the use of fertilizer. So you understand that those 2 ones are interconnected through the agriculture and the food production. Yeah. And the other one, where we go off limit right now, is the climate change, global warming. And in fact, we start to be off limit right now. And this one is quite a tricky one because in a domino effect, climate is a very big domino.
Okay, does it mean that the social and the governance aspect from ESG are only peripheral?
Not at all. I mean, ESG is a process. I think that, in the past, no one was speaking about ESG. Today, everyone is speaking about ESG, but no one will tell you that it's stupid to do environment, social, or governance. It's a good process to apply. It fixes a framework, and through this framework, you are going to act positively. But when you look at our economy, in reality, we reach a point where clearly we can see the harm that we make on our planet. And if you look at, let's say, a pyramid, first of all, we need to preserve our shelter. And in fact, if you look at the SDGs, life on land, life on sea, we're speaking about, the climate action, they are the ones that are preserving the shelter. In fact, if we've got no shelter, there is no point to discuss about the society or the economy. And then there is the other layer of the SDGs that are linked with what we call the impact. We can speak about gender diversity, we can speak about peace, law, we can speak about access to infrastructure, we can speak about access to education, lowering the poverty, lowering the hunger. Usually the people see that as developing countries. In reality, we see that a bit differently. If you want to have a strong economy, you need to have two legs. One that is protecting the shelter, one that is providing to the society a guarantee of basic human needs. All those SDGs are linked with this. Once you've got that, you can have a strong economy. The main difference that we have right now is that you cannot grow your economy anymore at the expense of our shelter, at the expense of the environment, or at the expense of the society, or changing, an equilibrium that we have right now.
So Pierre, in short, you are prioritizing the objectives and focus only on the environment?
Well, we are focusing on the emergency. At the current pace of CO2 emission, in 3,000 days, we would have used the full carbon credit that remains, even if we stop our economy. So what we do right now is that we listen to the science. So we believe that what the IPCC is saying is not science fiction, but it's science. And then we look at the pathway. In fact, you've got the International Energy Agency that have built a net zero pathway with a milestone by 2030, which is 3,000 days. And what are they telling us is that we need to increase a lot our energy efficiency. We need to improve 4% per year the way that we consume energy. So at the same number of people or the same economy, improving 4% per year. Then we need to invest a lot in the electrification of the system, and especially on the mobility, because the mobility is using fossil fuel. So here we are speaking about an increase of nearly 20-fold of the electromobility. It's just huge. And then, once you've done that and you have invested into the electricity grid, you can push more renewable. In fact, we need to multiply by 4 the current capacity install of renewable.
Okay, you're talking about big changes. Does this mean big money too?
Yes, it's big change because basically we need to unfold in 3,000 days 150 years of unsustainable development and come back to the level of emission of the 70s, so basically 50 years ago. So it requires big money, big investment, in fact a lot of investment from the private sector. So the amount at stake is roughly 4 trillion per year. When you look at what the public can do, because usually people think that the public will act, and they are acting, when you look at the European Green Deal, is 1 trillion for the next decade. So the money should come from the global saving, but in fact there are a lot of global saving. Currently it's more than 100 trillion of global saving. So if we reallocate on a yearly basis a bit more than 3% of this stock of saving to the climate action, we are able to finance it. So that's why the role of the finance is critical into having those modifications done, because it's the only area where you've got enough money or dry powder, as we call it, available to make the shift. And in fact, it's our role to do it, because in a world that fails, nobody wins.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Pierre, for all your explanations. Has been a great talk. So thank you all for watching this new edition of Counterpoints, and I hope to see you very soon for the next episode. Bye-bye.